In the vastness of space, humanity has long dreamed of finding life beyond Earth. But what if that life was not just discovered but curated? Imagine a place where the unimaginable thrives, a colossal cosmic zoo, crafted by alien hands and teeming with creatures beyond comprehension. A team of scientists ventures into this enigmatic realm, only to uncover secrets that could reshape the universe forever. What lies within these celestial cages? And why were they built in the first place? Prepare for an odyssey through wonder, terror, and revelation. This is Alien Zookeepers, the Cosmic Menagerie Unleashed Dash. If you're ready to explore the unknown, hit subscribe now. The discovery began as most groundbreaking revelations do, with a glimmer of curiosity sparked by the mundane. Deep space probes had been mapping the outer reaches of the galaxy for decades, their sensors scanning for anomalies. It was during one such routine sweep that the signal appeared. At first, it seemed like interference, a fleeting blip on the radar that might have been dismissed as cosmic noise. But then it repeated, its pattern deliberate and precise, unlike anything ever recorded. Scientists back on Earth scrambled to decode the transmission, poring over data until the truth emerged, coordinates leading to a structure so massive it defied belief. When the scientific crew reached the destination, all mingled with unease. Before them stretched an object that dwarfed even the largest human-made constructs. Its surface shimmered with iridescent hues, reflecting starlight in ways that made it seem alive. Towering spires and labyrinthine corridors suggested architecture, yet no known civilization could claim responsibility for such craftsmanship. As the team approached, they realized this wasn't merely a station or vessel. It was something far more extraordinary. This was a habitat, meticulously designed to house life forms from across the cosmos. Initial scans revealed countless chambers, each pulsating with energy signatures unique to different environments. Some areas radiated heat akin to volcanic worlds, while others emitted chilling cold reminiscent of frozen moons. Gravity fields fluctuated wildly, creating pockets where physical laws bent and twisted. The sheer scale of diversity hinted at a purpose both ingenious and unsettling. Why would anyone, or anything, create such a place? Was it a sanctuary, a laboratory, or perhaps a prison? These questions gnawed at the minds of the explorers as they prepared to breach the threshold of the unknown. Their entry point gleamed invitingly, though the absence of visible defenses did little to quell their apprehension. Inside, the air hummed with an electric charge, and faint luminescence bathed the walls in shifting colors. Every step echoed unnaturally, as if the structure itself listened intently. The team moved cautiously, their instruments recording every detail. They soon encountered the first enclosure, a transparent dome filled with swirling gases and floating organisms that pulsed rhythmically like living lanterns. These beings drifted without purpose, their translucent bodies refracting light into dazzling patterns. Though mesmerizing, there was something profoundly alien about them, a reminder of how small humanity truly was in the grand tapestry of existence. As they pressed deeper, the enclosures grew stranger still. One chamber contained crystalline trees that sang when touched, their melodies resonating through the halls like ghostly choirs. Another held liquid pools inhabited by serpentine creatures whose scales shifted between metallic sheens and prismatic bursts. Each new discovery fueled both fascination and dread, for none of these entities belonged anywhere near Earth's evolutionary tree. Yet here they were, collected under one roof, or rather, one artificial sky. The implications weighed heavily on the scientists. Whoever had built this menagerie possessed knowledge and technology centuries ahead of humanity. More troubling still was the question of intent. Were they benevolent curators preserving endangered species, or something far darker? The deeper the team ventured into the cosmic zoo, the more apparent it became that this was no ordinary collection of life forms. The enclosures weren't random displays. They followed a meticulous design, each habitat tailored to the specific needs of its inhabitants. Sensors picked up subtle fluctuations in temperature, pressure, and radiation levels, all calibrated to mimic conditions found on distant planets. Some chambers replicated entire ecosystems, complete with simulated weather patterns and day-night cycles. Others defied explanation entirely, housing entities that existed outside conventional understanding of biology. One particularly striking exhibit featured a forest of bioluminescent fungi towering hundreds of feet high. Their caps glowed softly, casting eerie shadows across the landscape. Tiny insectoid creatures darted among the stalks, their movements synchronized, as if choreographed. Closer inspection revealed that these insects communicated through intricate patterns of light, their flashes forming complex sequences akin to language. The team speculated whether these signals conveyed social cues, warnings, or even emotions. Capturing footage of their behavior felt almost intrusive, as though they were eavesdropping on a private conversation. Another section housed aquatic life unlike anything seen before. Enormous tanks brimmed with viscous fluids that shimmered like liquid mercury. Within them swam amorphous blobs capable of altering their shape at will. Sometimes they elongated into sinuous tendrils, other times coalescing into spherical forms or flat sheets. Despite their fluidity, they displayed remarkable intelligence, solving simple puzzles presented by the environment. When prodded gently with a robotic probe, one blob extended a pseudopod toward the device, wrapping around it as if examining it. Then, startlingly, it released a burst of color that rippled outward in concentric waves. Whether this was communication or mere reflex remained unclear, but the sight left the researchers awestruck. Each step forward brought fresh marvels and fresh mysteries. In one chamber, gravity reversed entirely, forcing the team to navigate upside-down landscapes dotted with levitating rocks. Creatures resembling feathered serpents soared gracefully through the inverted expanse, their plumage trailing streams of sparkling dust. Elsewhere, time itself seemed distorted. Clocks ran slower or faster depending on proximity to certain exhibits, leaving the scientists disoriented as hours passed in minutes or vice versa. Such phenomena hinted at technologies far beyond human grasp, tools capable of manipulating fundamental forces of nature. Despite the wonders surrounding them, unease lingered. The absence of any discernible control systems raised suspicions. How did the builders maintain such precise environmental parameters without visible machinery? Did automation handle everything, or were unseen caretakers lurking nearby? The thought sent shivers down spines already chilled by the alien ambience. Every shadow seemed to hold potential threats. Every sound carried echoes of hidden observers. Even the silence felt oppressive, pressing against ears and minds alike. Yet amidst the tension, moments of pure wonder broke through. Watching a herd of six-legged herbivores graze peacefully in a meadow beneath twin suns reminded the team why they embarked on this journey: to witness the impossible and expand the boundaries of human knowledge. Each creature told a story, a fragment of the universe's infinite creativity. Together, they formed a mosaic of life so diverse it bordered on chaos, yet somehow harmonious. The cosmic zoo wasn't just a collection. It was a symphony of existence, composed by beings who understood the cosmos in ways humans could scarcely imagine. As exploration continued, the team stumbled upon an area starkly different from the rest. Here, the enclosures lacked transparency, their surfaces opaque and matte black. No light escaped, nor did sensors penetrate. Whatever lay inside remained shrouded in mystery, provoking equal parts curiosity and dread. Initial attempts to breach these barriers proved futile. The material resisted all forms of analysis, impervious to lasers, drills, and electromagnetic pulses. It was as if the very fabric of reality bent around these chambers, rendering them untouchable. Speculation ran rampant. Some theorized these sections housed predators too dangerous to expose openly. Others suggested they contained experimental subjects, beings altered or engineered for purposes unknown. A darker hypothesis posited that these enclosures held prisoners, victims of conquest or experimentation, trapped indefinitely within their impenetrable confines. None of the possibilities offered comfort, and the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on the team. Further investigation revealed another anomaly: periodic vibrations emanating from deep within the structure. These tremors occurred at irregular intervals, accompanied by low-frequency hums that resonated through the corridors. Instruments struggled to pinpoint their source, but the consensus leaned towards some kind of maintenance system or power core buried beneath the facility. However, the intensity of the vibrations increased with proximity to the blackened chambers, hinting at a connection between the two. Amidst these discoveries, a breakthrough came unexpectedly. While examining one of the transparent habitats, a researcher noticed peculiar markings etched into the glass-like barrier. At first glance, they resembled decorative patterns, but closer inspection revealed mathematical precision. Complex equations intertwined with geometric symbols formed a cryptic code. Cross-referencing with earlier transmissions uncovered fragments matching those found in the initial signal that led the team here. Could this be a message meant for outsiders? Or instructions for operating the facility? Deciphering the markings became a priority. Linguists and mathematicians worked tirelessly, piecing together fragments of meaning from the abstract designs. Slowly, a narrative emerged not in words, but in concepts conveyed through universal constants and logical structures. The inscriptions spoke of balance, harmony, and preservation. They described a mission to safeguard biodiversity across galaxies, ensuring no species faced extinction due to cosmic cataclysms or self-destruction. The Cosmic Zoo, it seemed, served as an ark, protecting life from oblivion. But the revelations didn't end there. Embedded within the code were warnings. References to instability, collapse, and loss hinted at past failures. Entire sections of the facility appeared abandoned, their enclosures empty or damaged beyond repair. Scorch marks marred walls, and debris littered once pristine floors. Something catastrophic had occurred here, leaving scars both physical and metaphorical. The question loomed: what went wrong, and could history repeat itself? Despite the ominous undertones, hope flickered faintly. If the builders intended preservation, then perhaps their motives weren't entirely malevolent. Understanding their methods might unlock solutions to humanity's own ecological crises. Moreover, decoding the messages could provide insight into contacting the creators directly, forging alliances, or at least establishing peaceful coexistence. But achieving such goals required navigating treacherous waters, both literal and figurative. With each step forward, risks multiplied, and stakes rose higher than ever before. The team's growing understanding of the Cosmic Zoo's purpose brought with it a sense of urgency. If this facility truly served as an ark for endangered species, then its preservation became paramount. Yet, the warnings embedded in the alien inscriptions gnawed at their resolve. The abandoned sections and signs of past calamity suggested that maintaining such a grand endeavor was not without peril. What if the same forces that had once destabilized the zoo returned? Were they inadvertently awakening something long dormant by their presence? Their exploration led them to a central hub, a vast chamber that seemed to pulse with life itself. Towering columns of light stretched from floor to ceiling, each one emitting a soft hum that resonated through the room. Between the columns floated holographic projections, displaying intricate maps of star systems, planetary ecosystems, and biological blueprints of countless species. It was as though the entire cosmos had been cataloged here. Every form of life meticulously documented and archived. The scientists marveled at the sheer scope of information before them. These weren't mere records. They were living simulations capable of rendering entire worlds in stunning detail. One projection depicted a fiery planet with molten rivers, home to heat-resistant organisms that thrived in conditions lethal to most life. Another showed an icy expanse where crystalline structures grew like forests, inhabited by creatures that glided across the frozen surface using membranous wings. Each simulation was a testament to the builder's mastery over biology, physics, and engineering. But amidst the wonder, anomalies began to surface. Certain projections flickered erratically, their images distorting into chaotic patterns. Others displayed incomplete data, missing key details about the environments or species they represented. Some even appeared corrupted, showing grotesque amalgamations of forms that defied natural logic, hybrid creatures stitched together from incompatible traits. These distortions hinted at degradation within the system, perhaps caused by time or interference. Whatever the cause, it underscored the fragility of the zoo's infrastructure. As they delved deeper into the hub, the team discovered what appeared to be a control interface, a circular console surrounded by floating panels covered in glowing glyphs. Unlike the opaque barriers of the blackened chambers, this interface responded to touch, its surfaces rippling under their fingers. Tentatively, they interacted with the controls, triggering responses that ranged from minor adjustments in lighting to dramatic shifts in environmental parameters throughout the facility. One researcher accidentally activated a sequence that caused a nearby enclosure to flood with luminescent mist, revealing previously hidden flora and fauna. While exhilarating, these interactions also carried risks. Without fully understanding the system, any action could have unintended consequences. A misplaced command might destabilize an ecosystem, endangering its inhabitants or worse, compromise the structural integrity of the zoo itself. The team tread carefully, documenting every interaction and analyzing the results before proceeding. Despite their caution, the allure of unlocking the full potential of the hub proved irresistible. They couldn't help but feel they were standing on the precipice of something monumental, a discovery that could redefine humanity's place in the universe. With each passing hour, the team grew more attuned to the rhythms of the cosmic zoo. Patterns emerged in the behavior of both the enclosures and the creatures within them. Some habitats cycled through predictable changes, mimicking the passage of seasons or tidal fluctuations. Others operated on cycles so complex they defied immediate comprehension, requiring days of observation to discern their logic. The researchers noted how certain species reacted to these shifts, adapting seamlessly to their artificial environments as though born to them. One particularly fascinating example involved a colony of insectoid beings housed in a desert-like habitat. During simulated daytime, the creatures scurried across dunes, gathering crystalline shards scattered across the sandy terrain. At night, they retreated underground, weaving elaborate nests from the materials they had collected. Over time, these nests grew into sprawling structures that reflected light in mesmerizing ways, creating aurora-like displays visible even from outside the enclosure. The team speculated that these behaviors served a dual purpose: resource management and communication. Perhaps the nests broadcast messages detectable by others of their kind, forming a network of interconnected communities. Another exhibit featured aquatic life forms that exhibited hive mind intelligence. Individual members of the species resembled translucent jellyfish, drifting lazily through luminous waters. However, when threatened by sudden vibrations, simulated earthquakes introduced by the environment, the creatures converged rapidly, merging into a single, massive entity. This collective being demonstrated heightened cognitive abilities, solving problems far beyond the capabilities of its individual components. Once the threat subsided, the amalgamation dissolved back into separate entities, resuming their independent existence. Such adaptability spoke volumes about the sophistication of the zoo's design, which catered not only to physical needs, but also to social and intellectual development. Yet, not all observations were positive. In several instances, the team witnessed signs of distress among the inhabitants. Certain species displayed erratic behavior, pacing endlessly along the edges of their enclosures or engaging in self-destructive acts. Others seemed lethargic, barely responding to stimuli despite optimal conditions. These symptoms pointed to psychological strain, suggesting that captivity, even in such meticulously crafted environments, came at a cost. The researchers debated whether the builders accounted for mental well-being or prioritized survival above all else. Amidst these findings, the blackened chambers continued to loom ominously. Efforts to penetrate their defenses yielded no progress, yet the vibrations emanating from within grew stronger and more frequent. On occasion, faint sounds leaked out, growls, hisses, and other guttural noises that sent chills down spines. Whatever lay inside remained elusive, but its presence cast a shadow over everything else. The team couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, studied, or perhaps even tested. The breakthrough came unexpectedly during a routine scan of the central hub. One of the researchers noticed a subtle shift in the ambient energy field surrounding the facility. Instruments detected a spike in quantum flux, accompanied by a brief surge in electromagnetic activity. This anomaly coincided with the appearance of new glyphs on the floating panels of the control interface, their patterns shifting dynamically in response to the fluctuation. It was as though the system itself adapted to external stimuli, recalibrating in real time. Intrigued, the team focused their efforts on deciphering these newly revealed symbols. Unlike the static inscriptions found earlier, these glyphs pulsed with vitality, changing shape and color in sync with the facility's energy fluctuations. Cross-referencing them with existing data uncovered a startling revelation. The glyphs formed a dynamic map of the zoo's internal pathways, highlighting areas of instability and potential failure points. More alarmingly, some regions flashed red, indicating imminent collapse. Acting quickly, the researchers used the control interface to stabilize the affected zones. Adjustments to gravity fields, atmospheric composition, and temperature gradients gradually restored equilibrium, averting disaster for now. but the experience left them shaken. If the system required constant oversight to function properly, who, or what, had been responsible for maintenance prior to their arrival? And why had that oversight ceased? The answer came partially through further analysis of the glyphs. Hidden within their shifting patterns were fragments of narrative, pieced together like a mosaic. These fragments told of a civilization dedicated to preserving life, driven by a profound sense of responsibility toward the cosmos. Yet, they also spoke of conflict, internal strife, and external threats that ultimately fractured their unity. As resources dwindled and priorities shifted, the cosmic zoo fell into disrepair, abandoned to the ravages of time. This history resonated deeply with the team. Humanity, too, faced similar challenges: ecological crises, societal divisions, and existential dilemmas. Could the fate of the zoo's creators serve as a cautionary tale, a glimpse into Earth's future if current trends persisted? Or did it offer hope, proof that even amidst chaos, life could endure with enough determination and ingenuity? Driven by these reflections, the team resolved to continue their work. They would document every aspect of the zoo, ensuring its legacy endured regardless of what awaited them. Little did they know, their actions had already drawn attention, not just from the facility itself, but from forces beyond their comprehension. As the team pressed onward, the atmosphere within the cosmic zoo shifted subtly, yet unmistakably. The air grew heavier, charged with an almost palpable tension. Encounters with the zoo's inhabitants took on a new intensity, as though the creatures sensed something amiss. Even the tranquil exhibits harbored unease, their occupants restless and wary. Shadows danced unnaturally along the walls, elongating and twisting in ways that defied geometry. Every sound echoed louder than before, amplifying the sensation of being watched. It was during one such moment of heightened awareness that the first direct encounter occurred. While examining a habitat filled with bioluminescent flora, a member of the team stumbled upon a creature unlike any they had seen thus far. Standing nearly 10 feet tall, its body resembled a fusion of plant and animal, with bark-like skin interwoven with leafy appendages. Its eyes glowed softly, casting an ethereal light that illuminated the surrounding area. Despite its imposing stature, the being moved with grace, exuding an aura of wisdom and calm. The creature approached cautiously, tilting its head as if studying the human intruder. Then, astonishingly, it extended a tendril-like limb toward the researcher, brushing against their suit gently. The contact triggered a flood of sensations, images, emotions, and impressions that transcended language. Visions of lush planets teeming with life flashed through the scientist's mind, followed by scenes of devastation wrought by celestial collisions and climate upheavals. Through this exchange, the message became clear. The creature was a refugee, saved from extinction by the zoo's builders. It bore no malice toward the humans, but conveyed a plea for understanding and cooperation. This communion marked a turning point. No longer were the team mere observers. They had become participants in the zoo's story. Their mission expanded beyond documentation to include active stewardship. Working alongside the sentient beings they encountered, they devised strategies to mitigate stress among the non-sapient species, introducing enrichment activities and modifying habitats to better suit psychological needs. Progress was slow but rewarding, fostering a sense of camaraderie between humans and aliens. However, not all interactions proved peaceful. In another section of the zoo, the team confronted hostility from a pack of predatory creatures. Sleek and feline-like, these hunters prowled the edges of their enclosure, bearing razor-sharp teeth and emitting low growls. Attempts to communicate met with aggression, forcing the researchers to retreat hastily. Though contained, the predators radiated menace, their gaze piercing through barriers as if daring anyone to approach. These contrasting experiences highlighted the complexity of the zoo's ecosystem. Not all life forms shared the same temperament or capacity for coexistence. Balancing the needs of diverse species required constant vigilance and creativity. Yet, even amidst adversity, moments of connection reaffirmed the team's belief in the project's value. Each success, no matter how small, reinforced their commitment to safeguarding the fragile tapestry of life preserved within these walls. The central hub revealed further secrets as the team delved deeper into its mechanisms. Among the floating projections, one caught their attention, a rotating model of the zoo itself, complete with annotations detailing its construction phases. This blueprint provided invaluable insights into the facility's origins, shedding light on the advanced technologies employed by its creators. Anti-gravity generators, quantum stabilizers, and bioengineered materials formed the backbone of the structure, ensuring its resilience against cosmic phenomena. Of particular interest was a subsystem labeled harmonic resonance core, positioned at the heart of the facility. According to the schematic, this core generated the oscillations detected earlier, synchronizing the various enclosures to maintain ecological balance. Any disruption to the core risked cascading failures across the entire zoo. Realizing the importance of this component, the team redirected their focus toward locating and securing it. Their search led them to a secluded chamber accessible only via a labyrinthine network of tunnels. Along the way, environmental hazards increased significantly, testing their resolve and resourcefulness. Gravity wells pulled them off course, while sudden bursts of radiation forced hasty retreats. Despite these challenges, determination propelled them forward, fueled by the knowledge that failure meant jeopardizing countless lives. Upon reaching the core chamber, the team stood awestruck. Suspended within a spherical void, the harmonic resonance core pulsed rhythmically, emitting waves of golden light that bathed the surroundings in warmth. Surrounding it were arrays of crystalline conduits, channeling energy throughout the facility. Sensors indicated that the core operated near peak efficiency, though signs of wear suggested impending decline. Repairs were necessary to ensure long-term stability. Armed with tools and expertise, the researchers initiated repairs, working methodically to replace damaged components and reinforce structural integrity. As they labored, the core responded positively, its pulses steadying and intensifying. The transformation rippled outward, revitalizing the zoo's ecosystems and restoring vibrancy to previously stagnant areas. Encouraged by these results, the team redoubled their efforts, determined to leave the facility stronger than they found it. With the harmonic resonance core stabilized, the cosmic zoo began to hum with renewed vitality. Enclosures that had seemed dim and lifeless now radiated vibrant energy, their inhabitants thriving under the restored equilibrium. Plants unfurled new leaves, creatures moved with greater vigor, and entire ecosystems sprang back to life as though awakened from a deep slumber. The team marveled at the transformation, their efforts paying off in ways they hadn't fully anticipated. Yet, this newfound balance came at a cost. They were no longer passive observers, but active custodians of an alien sanctuary. As they continued their exploration, the researchers noticed subtle changes in the facility's behavior. The glyphs on the walls shifted more frequently, forming intricate patterns that seemed to guide them toward unexplored areas. It was as if the zoo itself had recognized their role and sought to lead them deeper into its mysteries. Following these cryptic markers, they discovered hidden chambers that defied explanation. One room contained a massive crystalline orb suspended midair, its surface etched with constellations that glowed faintly. When approached, the orb emitted soft chimes, resonating with the team's movements. Whether it served as a map, a communication device, or something entirely different remained unclear. Another chamber housed what appeared to be a library of biological samples. Rows upon rows of translucent pods lined the walls, each containing preserved specimens of alien flora and fauna. Some pods pulsed faintly, suggesting the organisms within were still alive, albeit in stasis. Others remained inert, their contents fossilized or decayed over time. Scanning the pods revealed genetic data encoded in microscopic structures, offering insights into evolutionary pathways unlike anything known to Earth science. These archives hinted at the builders' meticulous approach to preservation, documenting not just individual species but entire lineages. Yet, amidst these revelations, the blackened chambers loomed ever larger in their minds. The vibrations emanating from within grew stronger, accompanied by low-frequency rumbles that reverberated through the corridors. Occasionally, flashes of light seeped through cracks in the barriers, revealing fleeting glimpses of movement, shadowy forms writhing in chaotic patterns. The researchers debated whether to investigate further, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. Their curiosity burned brightly, but so did their caution. Whatever lay inside those enclosures held answers, and perhaps dangers, that could alter the course of their mission. The decision to probe the blackened chambers came after days of deliberation. Equipped with reinforced suits and advanced sensors, the team approached one of the opaque barriers, their hearts pounding with anticipation. As they neared, the vibrations intensified, shaking the ground beneath their feet. A sudden surge of energy coursed through the air, causing the barrier to shimmer momentarily before stabilizing again. Undeterred, the researchers activated their scanning equipment, attempting to penetrate the impenetrable material. To their astonishment, the scans revealed structural anomalies within the chamber, a network of conduits and containment fields designed to suppress whatever dwelled inside. The readings suggested immense power levels, far exceeding those required for the other enclosures. This wasn't merely a habitat. It was a prison, constructed with unparalleled precision to hold beings of extraordinary strength or intelligence. The implications sent shivers down their spines. What kind of entity warranted such elaborate confinement? Pressing forward, the team located a secondary interface embedded in the wall adjacent to the barrier. Unlike the control panels in the central hub, this one responded sluggishly, its glyphs flickering erratically. After hours of trial and error, they managed to activate a partial transparency mode, allowing them to peer inside. What they saw left them speechless. Massive, serpentine creatures coiled around each other, their scales glinting like polished obsidian. Eyes glowed with malevolent intelligence, locking onto the researchers with predatory focus. Despite being immobilized by the containment field, the creatures exuded raw power, their presence suffocating even through the barrier. Further analysis indicated that these entities possessed abilities beyond conventional biology. They generated electromagnetic fields strong enough to disrupt nearby systems, and their bodies exhibited properties akin to quantum entanglement, existing simultaneously in multiple states. It was as though they transcended the boundaries of matter and energy, embodying forces humanity scarcely understood. The realization dawned slowly. These weren't animals, but apex predators evolved, or engineered, to dominate entire planets. Containment was the only option, yet even that solution felt fragile, teetering on the brink of collapse. The revelation about the blackened chambers cast a shadow over the team's achievements. While they had successfully stabilized much of the zoo, the presence of such formidable entities underscored the precariousness of their situation. If the containment systems failed, even briefly, the consequences would be catastrophic. Determined to prevent such an outcome, the researchers dedicated themselves to fortifying the barriers and monitoring the imprisoned creatures. Their work took them to another hidden section of the facility, where they uncovered evidence of past attempts to study the confined entities. Abandoned laboratories littered with broken equipment and scorched walls hinted at experiments gone awry. Logs recovered from damaged terminals painted a grim picture. Scientists driven by ambition had pushed too far, provoking the creatures into violent retaliation. Entire teams had been lost in the process, their fates recorded only in fragmented messages warning future explorers to tread carefully. These accounts served as both a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration. The team resolved to learn from the mistakes of their predecessors, approaching their task with humility and respect. Rather than seeking to exploit or dominate, they aimed to understand the imprisoned beings, hoping to find common ground. Using the facility's advanced translation algorithms, they attempted to decode the electromagnetic signals emitted by the creatures, searching for patterns that might indicate communication. Slowly, progress emerged. Over weeks of observation, the researchers identified recurring sequences in the signals, resembling rudimentary language. These patterns conveyed emotions, anger, frustration, and occasionally curiosity, suggesting that the creatures were aware of their surroundings and capable of expressing themselves. Encouraged by this breakthrough, the team devised a method to respond, using controlled bursts of energy to mimic the creatures' frequencies. Initial attempts yielded mixed results, with some responses escalating aggression while others elicited brief moments of calm. Despite the challenges, the effort fostered a sense of connection. For the first time, The researchers felt they were engaging with the creatures on their own terms, bridging the gap between species separated by unimaginable gulfs of evolution and experience. Each interaction brought them closer to unraveling the mystery of the blackened chambers and perhaps finding a way to coexist peacefully. While focusing on the blackened chambers, the team couldn't ignore the broader implications of their discoveries. The Cosmic Zoo represented more than just a collection of exotic life forms. It embodied a philosophy of stewardship and interconnectedness. Every creature, every ecosystem, played a role in the grand tapestry of existence. Understanding this interdependence became crucial as the researchers grappled with maintaining harmony across the facility. One breakthrough came during an investigation of the zoo's water systems. Beneath the transparent enclosures ran vast aquifers, supplying nutrient-rich fluids tailored to each habitat's unique requirements. Analysis revealed traces of nanotechnology embedded in the liquid, self-replicating machines programmed to sustain ecological balance. These microscopic guardians monitored everything from pH levels to microbial populations, ensuring optimal conditions for growth and survival. Inspired by this innovation, the team adapted similar technology to address issues in compromised areas, restoring functionality to degraded environments. Another pivotal moment occurred when the team encountered a sentient species capable of manipulating space-time. Resembling amorphous clouds of iridescent gas, these beings drifted effortlessly through dimensional rifts created by the zoo's architects. Observing their behavior provided valuable insights into the nature of reality itself, challenging long-held assumptions about physics and consciousness. Collaborating with these entities opened doors to new possibilities, including methods for repairing damaged sections of the facility without disrupting its delicate balance. Yet, despite these successes, tensions mounted. Supplies dwindled, forcing difficult decisions about resource allocation. Fatigue set in as the relentless pace of work took its toll. Conflicts arose among team members, each bringing differing perspectives on how best to proceed. Some advocated for prioritizing immediate repairs, while others urged caution, emphasizing the importance of understanding the zoo's underlying principles before making irreversible changes. Navigating these disagreements tested their resolve, pushing them to the limits of endurance. Amidst the mounting pressures, a startling discovery reignited hope. Deep within the facility, the team stumbled upon a repository of knowledge, a vault containing records of the zoo's creators. Holographic projections depicted towering figures clad in flowing robes, their elongated limbs and luminous eyes marking them as unmistakably alien. Through painstaking translation efforts, the researchers pieced together fragments of their history, learning of a civilization driven by compassion and responsibility. The creators called themselves the Veilith, a race renowned for their mastery of science and spirituality. Driven by a desire to preserve life in all its forms, they constructed the Cosmic Zoo as a testament to unity and diversity. However, their utopian vision faced challenges, including internal dissent and external threats. Wars erupted over ideological differences, fracturing the Veilith society and leaving the zoo untended. Over millennia, the facility fell into disrepair, its original purpose obscured by layers of neglect. Reconnecting with this legacy inspired the team to redouble their efforts. Guided by the Veilith's teachings, they implemented sustainable practices, ensuring the zoo's longevity while respecting the autonomy of its inhabitants. Collaborative projects flourished, uniting humans and aliens in shared endeavors. Even the imprisoned entities showed signs of cooperation, responding positively to non-invasive interactions. Though the road ahead remained fraught with uncertainty, the researchers found solace in knowing they were part of something greater than themselves. As the team prepared to depart, they reflected on their journey. What began as a scientific expedition had transformed into a profound odyssey of discovery and growth. They had faced unimaginable wonders and terrors, forged alliances with alien intelligences, and uncovered truths that challenged the very fabric of their understanding. Leaving the Cosmic Zoo behind felt bittersweet, yet they carried with them invaluable lessons and memories. Before departing, they left behind markers of gratitude, symbols etched into the walls, conveying thanks to the Veilith and the countless lives entrusted to their care. These gestures, though small, symbolized a bond transcending species and time. As their ship launched into the void, the researchers gazed back at the shimmering structure, vowing to share its story with the world. Back on Earth, news of the Cosmic Zoo spread like wildfire, sparking debates about humanity's place in the universe. Governments and organizations clamored for access, eager to harness the zoo's technologies for their own purposes. But the team resisted, advocating instead for responsible stewardship and global cooperation. Their experiences had taught them that true progress stemmed not from exploitation, but from empathy and respect. Years later, the Cosmic Zoo stood as a beacon of hope, a reminder of what could be achieved when diverse voices united toward a common goal. And though the team never returned, their legacy endured, inspiring generations to look beyond themselves and embrace the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. If you enjoyed this epic journey through the cosmic menagerie, don't miss our next adventure. Hit subscribe to stay updated on mind-blowing stories from the edge of imagination.